Hey there, folks. Breaking news that has everyone talking. Donald Trump has just announced what many are calling the most unexpected economic move of the year. Could this be the financial relief millions of Americans have been desperately waiting for? Before we dive into all the shocking details of this $2,300 stimulus check announcement, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any critical updates about this developing story. Your financial future might depend on staying informed. The political landscape was rocked yesterday when reports began circulating about a bold new economic stimulus package allegedly coming directly from the White House. According to these reports, Americans could be receiving $2,300 stimulus checks as early as March 15th, a move that has economists, political analysts, and everyday citizens in a state of disbelief. But is this really happening? What's the truth behind these viral claims that have taken social media by storm? Let's start by examining what we actually know. These reports suggest that this stimulus package was designed as an emergency measure to combat rising inflation and provide immediate relief to struggling households. The timing has raised eyebrows across Washington, with many questioning the sudden urgency and the specific amount of $2,300. Why this exact figure? Some analysts are pointing to recent economic indicators suggesting that $2,300 represents the average household's increased expenses due to inflation over the past year. Is this an attempt to directly offset these costs with a targeted payment? The reports claim the funds would be distributed through the same channels as previous stimulus checks, with direct deposits beginning March 15th for those with banking information on file with the IRS, followed by paper checks in the subsequent weeks. But here's where things get complicated and why you need to be especially careful about this information. Despite the widespread sharing of these claims across social media platforms and even some news outlets, there has been no official confirmation from the White House press office or any other government agency regarding such a stimulus program. In fact, when we examine the recent legislative calendar and public statements from key economic advisors, there's a noticeable absence of any discussion about a new round of stimulus payments. This raises an important question: how could such a massive economic initiative remain completely under wraps until just before its supposed implementation? The logistics alone would require significant coordination between multiple government agencies and financial institutions. Let's consider the economic context as well. The current administration has been focused on fighting inflation through monetary policy rather than direct payments, which some economists argue could potentially exacerbate inflationary pressures. Would a sudden pivot to direct payments signal a dramatic shift in economic strategy? And if so, what prompted this change? These are crucial questions that remain unanswered by the circulating reports. What's particularly concerning about these viral claims is their specificity: the exact amount of $2,300 and the precise date of March 15th. This level of detail often lends an air of legitimacy to unverified information, making it more likely to spread rapidly across social media platforms. We've seen this pattern before with previous false stimulus announcements that left many Americans disappointed and confused after preparing their finances around expected payments that never materialized. This brings us to an important point about information literacy in today's digital landscape. How can everyday Americans distinguish between legitimate policy announcements and misinformation? One key approach is to verify information through official government websites like Treasury.gov or Whitehouse.gov rather than relying on social media posts or unverified news sources. Have you checked these official channels for confirmation of this supposed stimulus check? If you did, you'd find no mention of this program whatsoever. The potential impact of false economic information can't be overstated. Imagine families making financial decisions based on the expectation of receiving $2,300. Only to discover the information was misleading. This could lead to serious financial hardship for those already in vulnerable positions. This is precisely why responsible reporting on economic matters is so critical. People's livelihoods are at stake. So what might be happening here? One possibility is that these reports are confusing or conflating different economic initiatives. There are ongoing discussions about various forms of tax credits and relief programs, though none that match the specific description of a $2,300 direct payment to all Americans. Another possibility is that these claims originated from misinterpreted statements or proposals that were taken out of context and subsequently amplified through social media channels. Let's also consider the historical context. Previous stimulus checks required congressional approval through lengthy legislative processes, typically taking weeks or months from proposal to distribution. The idea that a new stimulus program could be announced and implemented within such a short timeframe would represent an unprecedented departure from established procedures. Does this timeline seem realistic given what we know about how government spending initiatives typically unfold? It's worth noting that financial misinformation tends to spike during periods of economic uncertainty or around significant dates like tax season or the end of fiscal quarters. The March 15th date mentioned in these reports coincides with an important tax deadline, which might explain why this particular date was chosen for the rumor. Have you noticed how these types of claims often center around dates that already hold significance in our financial calendar? Despite the dubious nature of these claims, their rapid spread highlights a genuine concern among Americans about economic stability and the rising cost of living. Many households are indeed struggling with inflation, housing costs, and persistent economic uncertainty. The eagerness with which these stimulus rumors are embraced reflects a real desire for financial relief among significant portions of the population. What does this tell us about the current economic reality for everyday Americans? For those who are facing financial hardship, it's important to be aware of legitimate assistance programs that are actually available. These include expanded tax credits, state-level relief programs, and various federal assistance initiatives for housing, utilities, and food security. While these programs may not offer the immediate gratification of a direct stimulus check, they provide tangible support backed by official legislation and funding. The spread of these stimulus check rumors also raises important questions about media literacy and the responsibility of content creators. In an era where information travels at unprecedented speed, how can we all become more discerning consumers of news? Critical thinking skills have never been more important, particularly when it comes to information that could impact our financial decisions. Looking ahead, it's essential to stay informed through reliable channels. If a legitimate stimulus program were to be announced, it would be covered extensively by major news outlets, detailed on government websites, and communicated through official channels. The absence of such coverage is often the most telling indicator that a claim may not be accurate. What should you do if you encounter similar claims in the future? First, check official government sources before making any financial decisions based on news about stimulus payments or other relief programs. Second, be wary of information that seems designed to create urgency or emotional reactions without providing verifiable sources. And third, consider the plausibility of the claim in the context of established governmental procedures and economic policies. As we continue to navigate an increasingly complex information landscape, maintaining a healthy skepticism while staying open to new information is a delicate but essential balance. Your financial well-being may depend on your ability to distinguish between factual economic news and viral misinformation. In conclusion, while the idea of a surprise $2,300 stimulus check arriving on March 15th might sound appealing, the available evidence strongly suggests that these reports do not reflect an actual government initiative. Instead, they appear to be part of the unfortunate pattern of financial misinformation that has become increasingly common in our digital media environment. Remember to approach all financial news with critical thinking and verify information through official channels before making any decisions. Your financial future is too important to be based on unverified claims, no matter how compelling they might seem. And if you found this analysis helpful, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share this information with friends and family who might be confused by these circulating claims. In times of economic uncertainty, access to accurate information isn't just helpful, it's essential.